Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Rad from Radko, and in this whole video we're going to look into Aries Sun, Aries Moon, and as well Aries Rising weekly general tarot reading June 28th up until July 4th, 2021. And if you do want to catch me live, guys, where you can get a free reading with me, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell. And should you want your personal reading with me, or if you do want to take my tarot classes, you can check out the description down below, and there you're going to find a link to my website where you can view and purchase either or both of these services. So with that being said, moving to the general reading for Aries, the first card here that we do have for you guys, that is going to be the Queen of Swords, followed by the second card of the Ace of Cups. Moving next, what we do have, that is to be the Five of Swords, followed by the fourth card for you, which is to be the Page of Swords, and the last card of your spread, that is going to be the Two of Wands. These five cards, and for what it seems, the week, how can I classify the week? It is that's more or less there will be some kind of a breakthrough into it, and the breakthrough should happen rather very swiftly for you, and it will start with the manifestation of this individual in your life at the very start of the week, which is the Queen of Swords. So that could be someone you know, or it could be somebody brand new out there. But the thing about the Queen of Swords is that they are very, I don't know how to say it in English really. These people are very in tune with what is going on around at this very specific moment, and they can make everything pretty much works out. They're quite emancipated people, and they do know how to push things through regardless what the things truly are. So that is, if you will, you know, that movie, I think it was called Taken, where the protagonist was a preventer, or in other words, person who prevents things and who solves things around. And you have this one here that steps up and probably will offer either a cooperation with you, or it will form up some kind of a cooperation with you, or it could be pretty much somebody who comes about to clean up a certain mess. It doesn't have to be your mess, but it is a mess that pretty much kind of like concerns you to a certain extent. The accompanied card of that one, it is going to be the Hangman. And with the Hangman here, we can pretty much say that they didn't have to step up for it, but for one or another reason they did. Should they gonna go about and ask for a favor return further into the future? Well, that is going to be very individual for each single Aries out there. But just so you know, they totally did not have to do it, and for one or another reason they did it, either for you, or it is because you have something they need. And right after their step up into your environment, into your situation, the Ace of Cups, I'm sorry, manifests for you guys. And Ace of Cups, it is that card that points that your problems, whatever problems you faced at that point, pretty much they lose relevance. And they lose relevance because of this person who resolves them for you. Okay, so the concerns and the problems you had, they lose relevance, and that forces a impending change into your life. And it doesn't have to be that grand changes into the material aspect of your life. The very least is going to be a change from, you know, being worried about something to not being worried about it. Is because what the change really does for you, it is transcending your daily routine, if you will, into something very, very pleasant. And while the Ace of Cups, it does expresses love, you know, it doesn't have to be the intimate one. The Ace of Cups expresses the love for life. Yeah, it could happen to be an intimate one, but it could be also that's what is going on in your life. You end up loving it. And right after this thing, happens to you here, where your day-by-day routine gets transcended into something you would love to experience, pretty much looking forward to wake up every morning and go by with your day. The Five of Swords manifests, and Five of Swords here, it isn't something bad. It is because comes about or comes after, right after the Ace of Cups. The Five of Swords in your case, Aries, it does speaks about limits, and it does speaks about how far you can go. And here about it should be about the middle of your week, maybe a little bit later. That is the moment where you start realizing which battles and which undertakings you can pretty much go by with, and which one you are to lose. And therefore, you are going to stretch into your environment just as much as your boundaries and your capabilities are allowing you to stretch yourself with. Another thing about the Five of Swords at that point, it is that because you will have such a valuable ally at your disposal here with the Queen of Swords, you will have a lot of power. You will have a lot of how can I say, situations where you do have the upper hand, all right, either career-wise or either relationship-wise, if you will. And you should be mindful how you do use that power, because the Five of Swords kind of like speaks about that one does abuses one's power that one has. And ultimately, if you do end up being that way, being abusive, and how can I say, pushing up buttons and triggers where you totally don't have to, ultimately at the end you may end up being humiliated by something. And last thing that I'm going to say about the Five of Swords, it is that at that point you should be careful whom you are trusting with your endeavors, because here you may receive some kind of a bad advice, or your trust may be betrayed as well. And then after that point, the Page of Swords here manifests for you, and that is a person who definitely does not like what is going on into your life, or in other words, the breakthrough that you are making at that point. And they will, the very minor way or the very milder way that they may manifest there, it is a friend that you may have that will not want to have anything to do with what you are going through right now, or what you are trying to manifest, and they just walk away. The rougher point here, which that card may manifest, it is when they start arguing and kind of like throwing themselves into your endeavors with countless wrangles, arguments, and as well fights in general. The accompanied card of the Page of Swords here, it is the Ten of Cups, and that just confirms what I just said, that they doesn't like a bit what you are doing and what you are going through, your alliance here with the Queen of Swords, because that kind of like disrupts their comfort zone, that kind of like disrupts, their place of solace. Probably they had some kind of a use of you being with your problems, and now as you are not, well, they kind of like they are in a more uncomfortable position than they once were. And at the end of the week here, where you do end up, regardless what happens with the Page of Swords or not, Page of Swords here is so distant, and I do suspect that the only reason why it comes up into your reading areas, it is because both of you do have some emotional connection to one another, but now the breakthrough kind of like how do you say it, outbids that emotional connection, and you go by with the breakthrough and with the allegiance here with the Queen of Swords. And at the end of the week, you are to find yourself sitting on a quite good accomplishments, even though many of you, most of you are to find yourself being quite proud of how far you were able to push here throughout the week with your things, with your endeavors, and the milestone is going to be just where you sit. And at that point, it will be quite important that you do not stop but think about carefully how you can expand on those accomplishments. You are by far not done, with your growth, either career-wise or either relationship-wise as well. So It seems that it's going to be a week especially very beneficial, especially for those of you Aries which are in a very rough spot, in a very rocky spot. A helping hand out of nowhere, most likely, that totally doesn't have to come about. It will come about, and it's quite advisable for you to pretty much embrace it, take it, and roll with it, for it will resolve your concerns and your issues. So with that being said, guys, this was your weekly general tarot reading, June 28th up until July 4th, 2021. Hopefully you do enjoyed it and you do liked it, and we are to see each other next time. Until then, bye.